Aloha everyone, this is Naomi Kanikuli, Intuitive Soul Alignment Mindset Coach here. And so today is, we're doing my 5-day training to really help you to up-level in your life and your business. And it's actually, my specialization is to really help you to see whatever your next level is in order to impact more people, to do what you love and to fulfill your greater purpose. So this is day 2 of the 5-day training. We're talking about activating, revamping, and expanding to a multiple 6-figure freedom type business. And so yesterday we talked about activating your superpower, getting out of symptoms of misalignments in order to move through some of the chaos or the confusion or the overwhelm that you may be experiencing. And so if you haven't listened to yesterday's one, please do go down below in my biz page here and listen to that one, because it's going to give you some deeper understanding of why you may be experiencing some of these symptoms of what I call misalignment, where you're not really in alignment to your type of soul type, and also are going through maybe some deep changes or mindset issues that are coming up right now that actually need to be addressed. So yeah, today we're going to talk about revamping to your soul purpose archetype biz model by actually removing people, places, things that are not in alignment to you. So today's topic, I'm going to actually talk a little bit more about the type of things that you may need to consider to change in order to get to that next level. And a lot of people, when they work with me, they don't realize that they are actually doing things out of obligation or doing things that are really not aligned to their soul until I kind of explain to them whatever their specific energy of their soul is, and I call that their superpower. So today I'm going to talk about the 4 stages of soul aligned business model. So this is something that's my signature method and system that I've taught all of my private clients, my group clients, about the stages that they need to go through in order to create a business that's really, really aligned to their type of soul type. Which I call the specific energy of what your soul is. I call that your superpower. So I don't mean like some special skill or something. That I'm specifically talking about specific energy of your soul. So like yesterday I explained, there's 8 type of superpowers. And a lot of people may be thinking that they are a different type of superpower, and this is why they are having the misalignment symptoms, or they're not getting the results that they want, or no one's hearing them, miscommunication a lot, chaos in your money relationships. All of these are all because of not being in alignment to your specific energy of your soul, which is your superpower. So again, there's 8 types of superpowers, which is compassion, love, creativity, order, expression, power, truth, and wisdom. So I know like a lot of people may be thinking like, oh yeah, I'm definitely a truth person because I always, talk about integrity and being truthful and doing things like that. But really, like, if you aren't that type of superpower, you're going to be experiencing those type of misalignments that I explained yesterday. So if you want to know more about that, go listen to yesterday's replay. So today I'm going to talk about those 4 stages of a soul-aligned biz model. So as you can see, then to the next 5 days, I'm going to talk about these stages of soul and business alignment, because these are the stages that it takes time to go through. It could take a year or 2 years, depending on your type of company or biz model that you are aligning to now. And so today I'm going to talk a lot about the things that you may need to change in order to get past maybe an income goal or the level of impact that you want to make in the world, meaning how many people you want to help in the world, whatever your bigger goals are. They all actually fall under these 4 stages of what I call soul aligned biz model. So I'm really like sharing with you guys information that I've never really shared to my audience So a lot of the information you'd be like, wow, this makes a lot of sense, but like, well, how does it apply to me specifically? And this is why you need your soul alignment blueprints, which is the roadmap to your soul, the specific energies of your soul. And when I go in your Akashic records, I make a PDF and recordings to explain every part of your business model, the energy of your business, the way that you like to organize yourself, to your manifesting blueprints, to your soul purpose archetype, and all of these parts, so that you can know what you need to do in daily action to take aligned action to that to get to your goals. So the 4 stages of soul line business model is number 1, which we talked about yesterday, which is activating your true superpower. So this is where most people, when they start, especially when they start working with me, they actually realize that they're aligned to the wrong superpower. And this is why they're not getting to their goals, or not getting to where they want to go in their life and in their business. And so it's just kind of like they're in a plateau. They want to get to the next level, but they're actually taking actions that go against their superpower. The thing about your superpower is that when you align to the specific energy that I was talking about out of the 8, what happens is rapid shifts in your life and your business just start to happen. You start to manifest more money, manifest more opportunities. A lot of things that you used to do that didn't feel good anymore, you start to feel really happy and good about it. You feel very like connected to your higher self, connected to source. A lot of downloads of information comes through. These are some of the symptoms that happens when you start to activate your true superpower. So it's no coincidence that the reasons that you're not getting to your goals is because you're doing the wrong actions against your superpower. So that's really the first stage. And no matter whatever level that you go to, let's say you go to the 4th level that I'm talking about now, if you don't take action towards your specific superpower, you're going to end up going all the way back down and have to start from scratch. So it's very important that you know that specific thing of from your blueprints, from what your superpower is, and stay away from your specific life challenges. And then it just makes your life and your business much more easy for yourself and others to relate to you. So that's the first stage, is activating your true superpower. The second stage is building your soul purpose archetype. So today I'm going to talk about what that is. It's basically where you're building the platforms and things that will allow your business to thrive according to the type of archetype that you need to embody. So for example, just like the 8 superpowers, there's also 8 soul purpose archetype that actually has to do with your superpower. So the 8 type of archetypes are Samaritan Gaia, which means your type of soul type that really connects people to the earth and bring compassion to the world. Number 2 would be like a spiritual warrior trainer. So what this means is that you're type of a trainer type where you either teach yoga or meditation, or help people to get in touch with their body, to have a healthy lifestyle, to help them to embody what they want to create and create joy in their life within their body. So depending, like I said, of these 8, when you align to it, it's going to actually, again, expand you into utilizing your intuitive gifts and all these other things at a higher level. Number 3 is being a creative muse manager. So which just means is you're kind of like a person who manages things in the background for people, or do graphic design, or do things that like project management, or being like a VA, or things like that, where you're actually creatively creating things that sets up systems and strategies and processes that are more aligned to a person. The 4th one is maybe a diva magical healer. So I'm a diva magical healer because I'm a love superpower. So this is why all the things I teach about is about healing, about clearings, activations, giving people magical experiences, talking about money, time, money, and energy, so that you know how to ultimately live a freedom-based lifestyle, right? That is a very specific archetype. The 5th one is the spiritual storyteller teacher. So what this means is that you're kind of a person that helps people to express what they want to say in the world by telling stories or teaching them of whether it's spirituality or whatever kind of type of information you want to share, you're teaching people to bring out their real message or their real voice in the world. So you could be a marketer, you could be someone that has like a marketing agency or PR agency or something like that. That would be those type of souls. The sixth one would be like a visionary mystical guru. So which this means is that you're kind of like a psychic medium. You help people to have mystical experiences, deeper experiences within, helping them with their shadow self, helping them to see beyond what they actually need to understand and see, help them to really realize that they have a guru within them, to get in touch with them themselves as a teacher, as a true also healer in the world. So that's the type of visionary mystical guru, is another archetype. The seventh one is the pioneer goddess leader. So a lot of people online actually are usually very into empowering people, inspiring people, leading people to see things in a different perspective, doing things what you want, when you want to, taking people at a whole nother level because they're pioneering a whole new kind of concept or industry that they're really interested in. Those are those type of people. The eighth one of the soul purpose archetype is wisdom seeker seer. So these type of souls are really about bringing universal law and truths that are more connected to the universal wisdom that is already there in the universe. So they're usually people who talk about systems and methods that are helping people to find their inner wisdom, to seek something much more deeper, and to also foresee the things that other people may not have been able to see. So it's kind of a little bit similar to the visionary mystical guru, but theirs is more about connecting people to their identity and their truth, while wisdom seeker seer is more about helping them to find their wisdom within. So do you see how each one of the 8 archetypes, when you start to embody the real one that is aligned to your superpower, that is aligned to like a higher level of using your intuitive gifts, that you will start to see like how you want to show up in the world. So a lot of reasons why people don't know like what is the right messaging that they should share in the world, what is the offers they need to make, or how do they consistently show up in the world. It's just because they don't actually know what archetype to embody. And so out of those 8 archetypes, as you can see, there's a lot of depth of how you would need to revamp a lot in your life and your business, so it's really aligned to your type of soul type. And again, I know I'm going really fast with this because you're just going to have to listen to the replay, because this is a lot of key information that I actually do with my clients so that they know which one that they need to embody more, so they know what they need to do to consistently show up. Because revamping your type of soul purpose archetype is actually key to creating freedom in your life and your business. So like I said, when I first started as a psychic business coach and as a psychic monk, I was aligning a lot to creativity and power, and which means I was also aligning to the other archetype of pioneer goddess leader and spiritual warrior trainer, rather than my archetype, which is about diva magical healer, which is helping people to heal deeper wounds or issues, that maybe traumas or things that they are not accepting, and they need to have more self-love and rid of a lot of their mindset issues in order to get what they actually want to create in their life. So all of your clients, all of the people who you help, are actually usually 1 or 2 of those types of superpowers or archetypes. And you can actually use that in order to help many people, because it can be a very specific niche that you can totally, move into and help your audience and where they feel stuck. So that second step, right, of the 4 stages of Soul Line Biz Model, right, activating superpower. Number 2, building your soul purpose archetype, which is finding the platforms that will work so that you can actually show up with that type of archetype. Is very important. So then the 3rd stage is actually revamping to the correct path that is really truly aligned to your type of soul. So once you know what your soul purpose archetype is, then you need to revamp everything in your life and your business that's not aligned to it, and so that you can receive all the love and support to get there, right? So for example, if you are a diva magical healer, and most of your life you did not create loving connections or relationships that are really done out of self-love, you're going to find a lot of issues with your own personal relationships, with people controlling you, or treating you like a doormat, or you're not even stepping in your leadership as a healer. And so what happens, again, you start to like live away from others, right? Kind of make yourself be alone, or not be connected to your community, and all of that, all the shadow parts of what your archetype really is about. And so a lot of people, when they first come out, like, oh, I'm a healer, or I'm a teacher, or I'm a spiritual warrior, trainer, right? Any of the archetypes that I explained. The number one reason why we are not aligning to those archetypes is because we believe that our psychic abilities or our intuitive abilities is not special enough, or it's too special, right? Where people who are of a religious background would not like the fact that you can use your intuitive abilities in that way. So then you shy away from actually expressing who you are at soul level, which is kind of like what I explained to you about the archetypes. Because I'm talking about expanding yourself into a new kind of version of yourself, where you can show up consistently and use your intuitive abilities to help people at a whole other level than what you normally do when you just starting to activate the right superpower, right? So once you build that soul purpose archetype and you start to see, oh my gosh, I got to revamp into the right path, and you've already lost your why, you've lost your soul's voice, you've lost your authenticity, you've lost the symptoms of soul alignment, the symptoms of misalignments are happening to you. They're all happening because you are suppressing yourself from really showing up completely 100% yourself, right? And so it's actually normal to be afraid, to have a lot of fear, right? To talk about your abilities, to talk about what you truly value, or those kind of things, because as a society, we've been told, like, you just don't talk about that, right? You don't share that. You don't broadcast that to the world. But it's actually when you start to take soul-aligned action or towards your superpower, you naturally start to feel this expansive part of yourself. And so as you expand, you actually have to revamp a lot of your lifestyle and your beliefs, your health, your things that you eat normally every day, things that are just not supportive for you to show up 100% yourself. So it's important to see that revamping to the correct path will actually allow you to have more fulfillment that is beyond time and space, right? Beyond all the problems and issues that are happening out in the world. It all, again, comes back to you owning your superpower, owning who you are at soul level. So that's the third level, is revamping to your correct path. Once you've revamped your correct path, then you need to, like I explained, number 4, start to live. So living a soul-aligned lifestyle in complete fulfillment to your higher purpose, okay? So this is why I talk about soul-aligned living or conscious living, is because once you get to a point where you're like, wow, there's certain things that, I haven't changed about my lifestyle, or, made boundaries or ways that you communicate with your audience or your family or your friends, and a lot of obligations. You're all creating like this prison that's really not aligned to your type of soul, right? And I see this a lot when you start to do the wrong, start aligning to the wrong energy of your soul, your superpower, right? It's a natural thing to kind of go to who you're not, right? And then finally go through that experience of being disempowered or being like not in alignment to your soul, to be like, that's enough. I do not allow that in my life, in my business, and I want to step into something else, which, you know, coming back to your superpower, your soul purpose archetype, and your path is actually the secret to get there faster. And it's the secret to actually bringing in a multiple six-figure business in less than a year. A lot of my clients, when they came to me, they were totally like, they created a prison around a lot of very basic things that they just needed to engage in a different way. They needed to decide out of self-love. That's just not the way that they handle things, or things with their family and friends or their community. And then suddenly, like, everything all made sense. So that's the 4 stages of soul biz model, soul line business, which is number 1, activating your true superpower. Number 2, building your soul purpose archetype. Number 3, revamping to your correct path. And number 4, living a soul line lifestyle in complete fulfillment of your higher level purpose. So here is the 3 R's. So this is how you can revamp into your soul purpose archetype, which is how you can create a biz model that's more aligned to your soul. And the first R is release. Okay, so this is actually one of the hardest parts when you're revamping. You're in that revamping. You've built your soul purpose archetype, using your psychic abilities, your intuitive abilities, and then you start revamping to the correct path that's most aligned to your archetype and your superpower. The first stage of that is actually releasing. So this is where you have to release all people, places, and things that do not support you 100%. And it's so important to do this because you actually save a lot of time, money, and energy by seeing what is there that is keeping you in obligation. So, for example, it could be simply like taking your kids to the soccer game that you don't really want to go to, right? Because you're obligated. You got to take your child to their soccer game, when you could actually be doing something much more productive that you actually do enjoy. And you could simply just, tell your child that, I will show up maybe on the big games that you actually, that you do like every quarter or every, like a very big championship or something like that. And that you made an agreement that despite you won't come to the soccer practices and you maybe toss it on to your husband to do or something, right? Just by you standing in your power and saying, hey, like this creates obligation for me. It doesn't make me to feel like I have freedom to be there because I want to. And I don't want to be, a pouty face because I don't want to be there, right? But you're still fulfilling your responsibility as a parent by actually, showing up for the more important things. So you have to go look at everything in your lifestyle and your business that you're doing out of obligation that's actually creating more misalignments in other areas in your life that you may not even be aware of, right? So it could just be something like a simple boundary like that, just that needs to get set up, or it could be things that are like certain people who take up a lot of your time and energy, right? Like maybe your best friend who calls you like every hour. You can just, suggest instead of every hour, why don't we talk like once a week, where we can really sit down, have a really deep conversation about what happened for that entire week, instead of like every hour you're feeling distracted and you got to help your best friend to fix her issues or to even have that deep connection or that conversation with that person. Do you see how like you're not being smart by using your time and energy, and so it's draining you and it's causing you a lot of issues because you haven't set up a clear boundary or a clear way that you can engage with somebody, right? And it could even be in the wrong environment. Like you could be living in a house that's super noisy and you don't even like living in that house, and it's causing like all kinds of issues with like sleep, can't eat well, so maybe starting chaos in your relationship, your intimate relationship. All of these things are because you're not doing it out of self-love. You're not revamping what needs to be done, but you have to actually release what doesn't serve you to save you a lot of time, money, and energy. we are doing out of obligations. Okay, so that's the first R, which is release. And that's one of the hardest parts, is to see which one it is, right? You might already know what are the things that you need to release, but you just don't have the balls to do it yet, right? Or you're just not clear about what's the solution to that. And sometimes it's just, you have to have a discussion with the person, or you have to have that, like, the intimate negotiation with somebody, or change the dynamics of your physical environment for you to be your best. Okay, so the second R, right, in order to create a more soul-aligned type of business model, right, is the revamp. Okay, this whole thing I'm talking about is revamping, actually. So revamp is a stage where you start to think about what your lifestyle needs to become. What kind of lifestyle that has the most freedom for you to consistently show up the way you want to. Okay, I have like a lot of my clients to ask me, I'm not sure, should I do a live stream? Should I do a podcast? And like, should I focus on my blog? Should I do, a workshop or retreat? And all these kind of questions like this. And it has a lot to do with you deciding on what kind of a lifestyle will work the best for you. And what I'm talking about specifically is either it needs to be an online version or offline version. So what I was finding was that depending on whatever your superpower is, that your soul needs to be showing up either online or offline, 80%, 20% ratio. So how I found this was actually, like I said, I used to teach yoga, meditation, healing martial arts, manage, metaphysical storefronts, healing centers, and stuff like that as a psychic monk. So all the things that I used to teach and share, I was doing a lot of training. I was training tons of people, and it was a very offline type of biz model, where it's just it's a physical space, a center. People come in to the storefront, or people come in to take the yoga classes on a regular basis, right? There was a whole structure, but was mainly offline. So I learned a lot about offline type of business, but I was 100% offline. And it felt really hard, like working 10 times harder. It was just like I couldn't leverage my time. I was in healings and consultations and all kinds of stuff, like all day long, every single day. And so when I left the spiritual group and I started to learn more about online business, because I became a stay-at-home mom, married my husband, we had a lot of big changes that happened in the past 6 years, because it's been 6 years we've been together. And I wanted to learn more about the online world, because I didn't even have Facebook. So what's really interesting is that, like, I used to say, like, there's no way I'm going to be on Facebook, and here I am live streaming and posting all kinds of stuff online. You never know, because it could be something very good for you, for your growth. So I created a multiple six-figure online business from scratch. It's only been 2 years, and it was just because I wanted to learn so much about the online world as a psychic business coach, and then now as an intuitive soul alignment coach. So I really help people to break through their mindsets, to find out what they need to change, right, in order to live the lifestyle that they want. So this revamping part is kind of hard, because you have to know from your superpower which one are you going to show up more, 80%, 20% ratio. So again, I was 100% online all this time. And so this is why I'm bringing in my offline versions, because my soul type is more meant to be offline, 80%, and 20% online. So that means that my Being Alohi Academy and my school is going to be my online version. And then my offline version is going to do retreats or in-person type of experiences here in Maui, bringing people back to Lemuria and connecting to who they are at soul level, right? So it's just, revamping your business needs to not only be 100% online or offline, it has to be this balanced ratio according to your soul type. So that stage is really hard to see, because you've been operating probably the opposite of the way your superpower is designed, whether online or offline. So for example, for example, like me as an online type of coach, it just takes me 10 times longer to create a sales page, to create an opt-in, to create anything that's online version, right? To get people into this training or classes and stuff like that. So this is why I have a VA, my husband, to do the techie part that I know my soul is just not my own genius, right? Because it's just the way that your soul is designed. You're meant to do things more offline instead of online, right? So these are like simple things. Like, for example, like when I do my calendar, my Google, instead of doing a Google calendar, I have a physical calendar that I write for myself. Okay. And that's just the way I operate. It's like 80% of the time I am more offline. And if I do need to do anything online, it's all automated. It's all something that I pay somebody else to do for me, because I know it's just going to take me 10 times longer. So what I see a lot of people do when they start the online business coaching or lifestyle coaching or doing readings and stuff for people is that they're creating a business model, meaning how they show up consistently, to be the opposite of the way that their soul is designed. So instead of, like I said, like having a Google Calendar, you need to just write things down if you are an offline version person. Or see like people that are supposed to be online, they're still trying to create a lot of like workshops or meetup groups or stuff like that is more offline version, instead of actually leveraging on what's the most easiest for them, which is the online version of their type of business model, right? So something to think about. The reason why it's taking you so much time and energy and effort to get to your multiple six-figure mark is because you're more likely operating on a daily basis against your type of online or offline business that you need to be creating, okay? And this tells you how you consistently show up, right? How do you show up every single day that's more aligned to your type of soul for it to feel easy and effortless, right? We're usually doing, again, the thing that we're told that we're supposed to be doing it in that way, when we just simply need to just step into our superpower and do it the way that our type of soul is supposed to show up as, right? So this is why I'm going to create more workshops, more in-person type of events here on Maui, to shift my business model to the point where my online version is very passive and my offline version is very active, right? If your type of soul type is a very online version, then you would spend most of your time being online, creating activity and events and stuff like that more online, rather than, you know, spending a lot of time doing offline type of version of stuff, okay? So something to think about. This is just the second R, which is really important, which is the revamp type of stage, okay? The third R, about how the solution actually to revamping your, into creating a biz model that's more aligned to your type of soul, is reuse. So I kind of talk a little bit about this, but reusing all the systems, methods, processes that actually really focuses on saving you more time, money, and energy is so important, to the point where you actually just spend 3 to 5 hours of the day of doing actual work instead of 60 or 80 hours of work per day, right? So you're thinking about very strategically, how can you show up with a very short period of time where you get the massive impact that you want to do on the world, but you still have a lot of time to spend in nature, you know, and spend a lot of time with your family. So to get to that point, you actually need to set up a lot of systems and processes and structure that will allow you to save that much time and money and energy. And what you're doing is you're just going to have to revamp your whole work schedule, revamp, batch your time a lot, only focus on money-making activities during that 3 to 5 hours of working. Spend the time on what is really necessary for you to do in order to get to your next goals. So a lot of times people kind of forget that, oh, I need a kind of a key strategy on how I'm going to save this much time. And I only work 3 to 5 hours a day, and that's it, you know? And so that's like 20 hours a week or less. You can actually do that if you revamp your entire life and business to the specific lifestyle that you want to create. For some people, they want to travel. So if their lifestyle is all about travel and freedom, right, to have the power to do whatever you want when you want to do it, then in order to do that is you need to actually create kind of schedules where most of your client calls are on certain days, or you know, batch your time on when you do marketing, right? Or batch your time when you get on sales calls, or you know, make sales in your group programs, or, you know, have a kind of strategy in how you're going to get to your income goals, right? So for example, if you want to make, you know, a 6-figure income, 100,000 in a year, then in order to get to 100,000, you're going to have to think, well, it's at least 10K a month. Then what is the things that I'm going to need to do every single day that will create 10K months? It could be, yeah, creating more, a certain amount of sales calls that you need to make in order to get private clients in, fill up your private client roster, fill up your group program that could be like $500 to $1,000 with 30 people in it or something, right? And you're launching it every single month or every 2 months accordingly to how much money that you need to create, right, per the month. You can have a totally like once a year where you just launch that one program and you get hundreds of people in it, right? But, you know, helping them over a year. Or it could be a model where it's like every 2 months, you know, every eight weeks, right? Like an 8-week program where you launch that specific program to get people in the door, right? To get them to the next level, which maybe is to work with you privately. So there is a unique strategy that your soul likes and can use if you can set up systems and processes with your team or people, whoever you work with your lifestyle that you want to create, right? So then what are the things that need to get set up? You got to think from a bigger picture of like, well, how much money do I want to make, right? So these are just kind of examples that I want you to start thinking about. The strategy comes after you know what your superpower is, what your soul purpose archetype is, and you've built that structure. Then you start revamping to the correct path that's more aligned to your soul, right? And then you start to really create a lifestyle that is directly your type, right, of soul, feels the most freedom. For me, the main thing for me, the reason why I only work 3 to 5 hours a day in my business is because I want to spend more time with my family and be in nature. That's my key goal in my entire life, is just to spend more time in nature, to be connected to source, to have more time with my family. That is what I value. This is what I do every single week to hit my goals, but still have that much time and energy to do that. For some people, that means for some people that is travel for them, or just being able to read more books, right? Or things that they're interested in, or like go skiing more, right? Because then you like doing skiing. Then all of these things that are of value to you, you can do it if you are able to batch everything you need to do in a very small condensed time period. And you have to see what you're doing on a daily basis that is taking away your time, money, and energy, right? People, places, things that are pulling you and being distracted from actually your bigger goals, which is to create a 6-figure business or multiple 6-figure business, okay? So really the key is you have to just start reusing all those tools that you know that really work and really works for your type of soul type, okay? So a lot of things to think about. But I want you to understand that the revamping stage is not that easy, because it's like right there, and you know that there's a problem there, but you don't really want to solve it yet, because a part of you have some kind of mindset as to like why you're not doing it, right? Like, for example, having a babysitter or taking your children to daycare or paying for preschool because, you're like, I don't have the budget for that, or whatever the excuse is, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I don't have the energy to do this or that. There is a solution. It's just that you're resisting it so much that you need to see, out of self-love, what you need to do in order to make those shifts. Okay. So today's prompt for day 2 is to write down what is the stage of your soul aligned biz model. Which, remember, I told you the 4 stages of the soul aligned biz model that you're stuck at right now, and why is that? Most likely, a lot of you will be stuck at either the revamp stage or the, just activating the true superpower. And you just got to get back to, who you are at soul level, and then work through your misalignments, and then we'll get into your soul purpose archetype, and then get into revamping the things that are not aligned to you, to what it is. And just thinking about what part of that stage in your soul aligned business model that you're at, and what you're stuck at, and why is that? Why you're only staying at that level? And most likely it has to do with mindset or self-love issues. Okay, so that's the first question. The first prompt for today is to think about what stage of your business model are you stuck at, and why. Number 2, which of the R's, because remember I told you the release, revamp, and reuse, which of the R's will you need to change today, right? So which part do you think that will really benefit you the most by actually taking an aligned action that would change that part of your life and your business? Because remember, you gotta first release the things that are not aligned, and then revamp to the lifestyle, the online or offline version, right? And then reuse any systems or methods or processes that are accordingly to that online or offline version. Okay, because like I said, if you're more aligned to be an online version person, then you have to use a lot of automations, a lot of systems and processes in order to function as an online business. It's the same thing also with the offline business. The automations is just different kind of platform, that's all. This looks different, that's all, right? And people don't realize that which one that they're doing most of is actually causing a lot of time, money, and energy that they actually don't need to spend on. And this is why they have like 40, 80 hours a week in their business, rather than actually doing the things that are necessary, that needs to get done right now, and prioritizing accordingly to the strategy of the amount of money that you want to make, or the lifestyle that you want to create, right? You have to get really clear on that. So today is about that, to think about what you need to do in order to get in alignment to the right stages, and also what you need to revamp today. Okay, so any questions? I know I talked a lot today, because today was a very big one. This one is like a pretty eye-opener, because it seems very simple, but it's not that easy, because you have to be super honest to yourself. One of the things that I wasn't honest to myself was that, adding my husband into my business would actually allow him to do his purpose much more deeper. And I wasn't allowing that until I realized, like, well, he could totally help me with any techie things, and he just, his type of soul needs to be more online. But most of the time he was spending most of his time and energy being offline, and I saw how miserable and not really happy he was completely as a stay-at-home dad. So when me and my husband and my son, and we just realized, like, oh, my son needs to have a more online version type of a lifestyle, then we started teaching him on kind of online kids courses, rather than only doing it on paper or on his workbooks or stuff like that. And you could see how much he lights up. He feels so comfortable with doing the online version. And the same thing with my husband. They're more online people. I'm more the opposite. And here I had a whole online version type of business model that actually just took a lot of my time and energy. So instead, I passed that over to my husband, so he can do those things in the background, and I can actually stand in my power and doing more things that are more offline. So like I explained to you, most of the things that I do and whatever I teach, I just draw or on a piece of paper or my journal, or I paint, or I do things more like tangible wise with physical stuff. And it just feels much more easier, and I don't have to like worry about like, oh, I misspelled this, or the grammar about that because it just didn't feel good, right? And when I just toss it to my husband and he just looks at my grammar and goes and fix it, right? So you just gotta do what your type of soul type is all about, okay? And so today I'm actually going to talk about my Soul Alignment Blueprints modality certification program right after this at 9 a.m. my time. So that would be, I think, 3 p.m. Eastern time. So it's just actually in like 15 minutes or so. So after I get off of this live stream, right in my Facebook group. So if you've been wanting to learn more about how you can activate, revamp and expand into a multiple six-figure business model, the key is actually using the Soul Alignment Blueprints. So all this stuff that I've been explaining to you about, this is actually something that you can get in your Soul Alignment Blueprints. And you can also be able to teach this, not necessarily teach, but most likely like use these Soul Alignment Blueprints yourself with your clients and your audience in order to save you a lot of time, money, and energy by actually making their Soul Alignment Blueprints for them. So first, with this program, I'm going to actually create your own Soul Alignment Blueprints, and you're going to use that in your life, in your business. So in the program, you're going to learn how to utilize your blueprints, how to do grid work, manifestation, activations on others, how to do the Soul Alignment Blueprints on others, and then you'll be certified in order to do all of these things on other people, and utilize my system and methods that I just explained. I'm explaining to you guys right now for the next 5 days. You're going to learn that whole process of the Soul Aligned business model, so you can really leverage your time, money, and energy. And basically my modality, it starts with the Akashic Records. So you're going to learn the Akashic Records stuff. But the way that I do it directly from source. So it's like you're learning how to access the Akashic Records, but beyond the Akashic Records and multidimensional activations. And later on, I'm actually going to create a multidimensional healer type of certification program is what I'm going to do probably at the end of the year, after I get a lot of people into this Soul Alignment Blueprints modality, which will be the next level after that, where you'll learn how to multidimensionally clear soul level blocks that restrict people, and also help people with their mindset issues that are coming up that's not allowing them to have a freedom-based type of business. So I have these two certification programs, and they're all meant to help you to activate your superpower, build that soul purpose archetype, revamp into the correct path, right? And then living a soul aligned life and business to fulfillment that actually feels really good, to making a multiple six-figure plus type of business. So if you've been wanting to know more about this, I'll put below the link of my modality, because we're going to start on April 2nd. And then because it's an 8-week program, it's actually a 2,997 type of program. But if you sign up by Saturday, like so in the next 4 days or so, you can get this with $2,000 off, and it's $997, which honestly is a really good deal, because just getting your Soul Alignment Blueprints by itself is $997 because it includes a clearing with it. So think about where you want to be in your life and your business, and how you want to revamp your life and your business. And the Soul Alignment Blueprints actually absolutely saves you so much time and money and energy, because you won't have to figure out which direction your client needs to go in, because it's right there in their blueprints. It's like a roadmap to their specific path, the archetype, and all the stuff that I'm talking about right now. You can actually use that in accordance with the business model that you already have. And inside the program, I also help you with that, to figure out, well, how do I use this Soul Alignment Blueprints inside the business model that I already have. So you can think of the blueprints as just an additional thing that would enhance your client's experience with you to make it go deeper and give them actionable steps that they can use on a daily basis to manifest, to create whatever they want by using their blueprints. So I'll be actually sharing more about that like I said, in the Soul Alignment Blueprints Modality info class that's like in a couple minutes. And then I'm going to do one more class of that one next week, Wednesday, 8 a.m. my time, I believe. So that's 2 p.m. Eastern time. So same thing. I'm going to explain more about what that's all about. And if you have any questions about that, you can jump on top of that live stream in my Soul Alignment Leaders for Conscious Living Facebook group. If you haven't joined yet, come in and join that, because I give amazing free information like this, like pretty much, I think, like every 2 weeks or so. I'm giving away amazing information to help you guys to up level to your next level. All right, so I hope this was helpful. Again, if you do do the prompts, just put the prompts at the bottom here. And then after the 5 days, and you can also, if you could also share this live stream to your friends or your family or your Facebook group, or anywhere that you feel like people would really benefit from these live streams or this trainings that I'm giving, please do, share. And then when you put your prompts at the bottom, I will give you kind of like an entry. So I'm going to randomly pick it. I'm going to put it all like on little post-it notes, and then pick randomly a winner for the ones who participate, who does the prompts, and whoever shares it. So if you share this, you'll get an extra entry to win the prize at the end on Saturday when I'm done with the 5-day trainings. Okay. All right. Well, you guys have a beautiful day. See you guys all tomorrow. Aloha. Bye.